Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. After a couple days to really digest all 7 of the Pittsburgh Steelers draft picks, I want to go through name by name and pick out the one thing I like the most about their game, similar to my free agency, one thing I like about each free agent video that I will link in the description below. But one thing about each prospect that I really appreciate and admire. This will not be a comprehensive breakdown, of course, but just to kind of give you a window into my thoughts on each selection. And as I do that, if you guys could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate that. Of course, we'll start the video here with left tackle Broderick Jones, that you see on the move here. What I like the most about Broderick Jones is that athleticism that he has that can manifest itself in a couple of different ways, but I'm going to show clips of him pulling here just to kind of really highlight the point. So this toss to the boundary, although it does not work out, we're not as focused on process and outcome. We're just focused on the traits. And you see this guy pull and move out in space so effortlessly, so fluidly, and that's going to be something that's going to become really valuable in Pittsburgh. Later in this game against Georgia Tech, here is Broderick Jones, number 59, and you're going to see him on the move again, and he's going to execute a skip pull. Now, for offensive linemen, they're generally taught to pull one of two ways. One is a square pull, which is more commonly seen in the NFL, where you open up your hips and you're square, you're parallel to the line of scrimmage, or a skip pull, which is what you're seeing here from Jones. But regardless of the technique taught, you're just seeing that athleticism, that burst off the line that Pittsburgh's tackles, Dan Moore, Chuck Wilmore-Corford did not have last year, and this team really did not pull that much because of it. So this may not be a staple part of Pittsburgh's game, and I know the outcome's a little bit messy here in terms of Jones coming off the block at the very end, although that's a tough block to sustain, and maybe some confusion about who is taking who. But again, we're just focused on traits, what he can be. You see it in pass protection. You see it in the screen game. Jones' ability to pull and have that burst off the line and move in space is going to be refreshing to see in Pittsburgh. Next up, Joey Porter Jr., the 32nd overall pick of this year's draft, falling right into Pittsburgh's lap. And what I like the most about him, I think, is obvious. His length, his ability to play the catch point, the size that he has is that physical press man corner. And you don't see many college corners who press at all and then can do it well like Porter can at the next level. Now, you don't see press man coverage here, but what I like about this play, and this is against Charlie Jones, who got drafted by the Bengals, is that ability to reroute and disrupt. And so using leverage here, wide alignment here, outside release, use that leverage, use the sideline to your advantage, and push Jones out of bounds, taking him out of the play. And so what Porter can do to disrupt timing and rhythm of these dialed-in NFL offenses, and when you face big receivers like Jamar Chase of the Bengals, who's got some size, and T. Higgins is a mountain of a man, what you can do to throw off that timing and allow that pass rush to get home is going to be really critical. So that length, that size, how he can use that to his advantage is going to be a really key factor with Joey Porter Jr. Another example from this Purdue game, and you're going to see Porter contest at the catch point and using that length to his advantage to kind of close out and be able to finish. And that's going to be a really good recovery tool and just contest tool and the ability to make plays on the football. So this vertical shot, again, against Charlie Jones, using that length, using that rare frame that he has with 34-inch arms. You don't see many corners with that kind of length to it. Being able to finish here on this play, and that length to get in the way, help break this pass up, be able to obscure the view of that wide receiver. Again, Charlie Jones, a talented player, had a big year for Purdue. That's going to be a real big asset for Porter and this defense in a lot of ways. Fellow second-round pick, Keanu Benton, taken 49th overall, the man in the middle. What I like the most about him is that while he'll be a nose tackle for Pittsburgh to begin his career, according to the Steelers, he's got really quick hands, and his ability to defeat blocks and disrupt, not just be somebody that two gaps and holds the point of attack and frees up, linebackers. This is a guy that can make plays on his own. You see that on this tape against Michigan State. Here is Benton, 95, swimming the center, getting in the backfield, and making this play. He's disruptive. He has good hand use. Got to be a bit more consistent overall in pad level and balance, but you see those flashes to quickly win, quickly discard blocks, and make impact plays. Another example against Michigan State, this time in the pass game, and here's Benton head up as a zero tech over the center, and you're going to see him string moves together, that club to swim, and then bend through contact. What he can do, I think, in terms of his lower half and that ankle flexion, that hip flexibility to bend and corner through contact, you don't see a lot of guys with that size, that big lower half that can do that. And I think he's never going to be a premier pass rusher, super high end type of guy, but I thought the quickness in his hands, the flexibility in the lower half really offer something in the pass game and in the run game as well. What he can do to corner and finish some of these plays with some hit power as well, I thought was really intriguing and attractive with Keanu Benton. For third round pick, tight end Darnell Washington, the mere fact that he was there at 93 after Pittsburgh traded down, really still hard to believe. Had you told me that pre-draft, I would have called you crazy. So you see him here against Tennessee, lined up against the left tackle Broderick Jones, almost the same size as Broderick Jones. And obviously, his unique size and build, what he does as a run blocker, is the most exciting part about his game. You see him here on the defensive end really control this block, and defensive end here never is able to get vision on the football, and you see the running back be able to find the lane and basically run where that DN was at for a pretty good gain on this play. So that size, that physicality, the technique here, probably not perfect overall. Hands a bit outside, got to work on the placement there, but because Washington is so large and so powerful, just really eats up this defensive end. Good burst off the football, and that defensive end, again, never sees the football until the back is long gone. And so what Washington can do as a blocker is really interesting. Another example of that against Tennessee, and obviously as a down blocker, being able to get that push and wash and displace is going to be in his wheelhouse as well. And so you see him here on number 6 on the DN, be able to get that angle and wash. And I understand here with a down block, obviously any tight end's going to have the advantage of that leverage and that angle, but you really see the power for Washington to move that player. It's going to allow the running back to bounce off his hip and hopefully get more yards than what was gained on this play, but really just to watch Washington. Again, the size, almost as big as the right tackle, lined up next to him, and then be able to create that movement and wash down here on that shoulder, and then creating that lane potentially for that running back. You really like to see it for sure. And so that's going to make him able to handle some of these 4-3 defensive ends that Pittsburgh will ask him to block. For fourth round pick, Nick Herbig, the linebacker from Wisconsin, what I like the most about him is the active hands, the energy in which he brings, and the intensity that he plays with. You see him here with our helpful arrow as the right outside linebacker. You'll see it better on the end zone view here in a second, but he knows he's not the biggest or the longest guy, and so he's got to be able to win with those active hands, and you see him there be able to rip under the left tackle and draw the holding call, a really positive play overall for Wisconsin's front. And so that's the type of rusher he's going to be. You see here being able to kind of engage here initially with the first punch and then rip underneath and draw that holding call right in front of the official. And so he's a guy that plays with a lot of intensity. His hands are always active. He's always high energy to stay clean as a pass rusher, and that leads to moments like this. This kind of is an extension of that thought about his activity and his energy, but just watching his pass rush plan. You see him here against his Michigan State left tackle, and the tackle's going to really kind of jump set and kind of quick set him here, and you see Herbig counter immediately with the inside spin, and had that left guard not come over because of the stunt Wisconsin was running and kind of tripped him, never even saw Herbig, he's going to have a direct path to the quarterback and still gets pressure, still flushes the quarterback, still forces him to throw short of the sticks. But you're going to watch the left tackle right here with a quicker, a more aggressive set. And so instead of trying to win wide here against this wider set, when you have that gap between left guard and left tackle, you're going to see Herbig counter, spin to the inside, and he would have gotten through had he not just had some bad luck there and been tripped up. So I still have concerns about his size and length on the edge, but I think what he can offer on special teams, how his hand use, block shed will translate to the coverage units, and then I just think overall watching him, his intensity, his motor, the energy, the activeness of his hands, a lot of fun to watch. For 7th round pick, cornerback Corey Trice from Purdue, my Boilermakers selection of all 22 was pretty limited, so I'm going to show you guys just this random clip from 2019, the interception that Trice had against Nebraska. And what I like most about him, though, in talking about Trice, is the work ethic, the maturity. I think he'll maximize the potential that he has. But we'll watch this clip first, and I'll kind of put up a tweet that illustrates my point. But playing off coverage here, find the ball, and then pick off the pass. Not the most difficult play in the world, but still good instincts. I think he profiles pretty similar to Joey Porter Jr. Does not have quite the extreme length, but I thought on tape, I thought Trice had better ball skills than Joey Porter Jr. I thought his ability to find the football and finish the play, he was actually probably better in that regard than what Porter showed on tape. But with Trice, I'm going to put up this tweet from 2019. You see this goal chart that he has, and I know he's probably not the first, professional or a college football athlete to have a goal chart, but you see the things he's working towards on field, off field. You see remembrance to his dad here, who tragically was shot and killed in 2010, and so he's a guy that, for all the worst reasons, probably had to grow up pretty fast. But I think, everything I read about this guy, learn about this guy, he's a really salt-of-the-earth type, hard worker, mature player that's going to be the best player possible in the NFL. Finally, for 7th-round pick, Spencer Anderson, the offensive lineman from Maryland. I think, obviously, his versatility is going to be the biggest strength he'll bring to the Steelers. He's played all 5 positions. I know that Pittsburgh called him a guard, and they may view him more as an interior type guy, but watching the tape, I thought he had really good feet to play tackle, something that Dave Bryan noted, something that Josh Carney wrote in his scouting report on Anderson. So you're going to watch him here, the right tackle against Ohio State, defend this spin move the whole way through. And, we watched earlier Herbig, be able to beat that left tackle with that inside spin because the left tackle could not redirect and mirror that inside. Here, you see Anderson able to do that. And so we're going to go back and watch this play, and you see the left defensive end initially start upfield, and then he's going to spin inside. Anderson will push off that outside foot, redirect, change direction, stay square. Defender spins again. A bit easier to block at that point later in the rush, but Anderson is able to be square, good balance, good posture, and mirrors it the entire way. That is a great rep in pass protection against a top program in Ohio State from Spencer Anderson. So if he plays a bit of tackle, does not have ideal length to do so, I think, though, he has tackle feet. And whether he's playing guard or center or tackle, that feet that he has, the pass protection ability is going to suit him and this team well. So those are my overall thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers 7 draft picks. Let me know your thoughts about this class in the comments below. Your favorite thing about each one of these 7 selections. I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe, please like this video, and we'll talk to you soon.